That's their adversity. That's why they're here. To wrong, to learn, to search, and use the wisdom of that to create yet greater dreams.
There's nobody keeping records up there. The records are here, and I'm going to have to deal with them. That's far more painful than a record-keeping God up in the skies. So anyone who's setting out on the path of enlightenment will be absolutely impeccable in everything that they do. Is it because of fear of damnation? No. Or of the punishment of God, or because I have sinned and haven't got forgiveness? No, no, no. I mean, these are all excuses that keeps us away from the real problem. The really enlightened person will see every action has a reaction with which I must deal. And if I'm wise, I'm not going to do stuff that will cause me to have to face it and resolve it and balance it in my soul later. That's the real criterion.
That God, or the fundamental level of reality, depending on what people describe, it really, I mean, theoretically, it should be everywhere. It's something, you know, exactly how it would manifest, or how God would manifest in the world is a more complicated issue. But I think that certainly from a more traditional religious perspective, people have kind of gotten away from God the person.
There's been a great shift from God up there or out there or in there, wherever, to the God within. And that's an improvement, but we don't want to get some idea that God can be within and still be separate, which is what most people think. They think the God within is like some of those alien movies, you know, where some being breaks out from my chest. God is not within in that stupid sense. What it means is that in God we live, move, and have our being, that we ourselves, in fact, are divine.
What's the relation between my God self and your God self? There is no relationship because there's only one God self. It's in both of us.
All people are divine people. Is it not ironic that all would say that this is the voice of the devil, or that this is heresy? If this is heresy, then what is promised to everyone is an imbuement with God that is inseparable.
Knowledge allows the brain to begin to become wired, and we will begin to see what has always existed, but because we live in those routine automatic programs, we're unable to see because we're processing mind from the familiar. To learn knowledge means we're learning new things. And to learn new things means we're gathering information and creating the circuitry now to begin to develop the sensitivity, to begin to see things for the first time.
There's enormous potential to change the kind of behaviors and characteristic patterns that we've fallen into. In fact, if you've listened and have remembered anything that I've said, your physiology is different than it was before that. That is something that Eric Kandel, the recent winner of the Nobel Prize in Medicine and Science, said very eloquently at a talk, that basically memory has been encoded, your genetic structure has changed, and while we previously would talk about the nervous system as this very rigid thing that didn't have much capacity for change, we now know that on many levels that isn't true. And actually there's a tremendous amount of plasticity, which basically means ability to change within the nervous system.
And if you look at the structure of the human brain in detail, you see that it's specifically designed, it's carefully engineered to experience the unified field, to experience the unity of life.
We're all connected. I mean, I think the most fundamental thing is we're all connected by an energy field. We swim in a sea of light, basically, which is the zero-point field. And I say, first of all, you get away from the whole idea of separateness, because separateness is the biggest problem of the world now.
You take this notion of an entangled universe and you apply it to human experience, because human experience is part of the universe as well. And then you say, well, let's assume that experience is entangled, then how would it manifest? And we can start going through ways in which it could manifest. If there's a connection with another mind, we call it telepathy. If there's a connection to some other object somewhere else, we'd call it clairvoyance. If there's a connection that happens to transcend time, we'd call it precognition. If there's a connection in which my intention is expressed out in the world some way, we might call it psychokinesis or distant healing or something of that sort. So you can go through a list of perhaps 12 kinds of psychic experience that have gotten labels over the years, like telepathy, but this is really just the tip of the iceberg.
People ask, why are you so interested in the Planck scale, the very ultimately tiny in terms of spirituality? Because obviously spirituality is out there, it's everywhere. And the answer is that yes, the Planck scale is the ultimately small, but it's also everywhere. Wherever you go, there it is. And because it's holographic, it repeats at different scales, like fractals, throughout the universe.
I would say that what quantum physics is to the 20th century, whatever is going to be the new bridging of science and spirituality, that will be to the 21st century.
We are all creating the future. We are all creating what is outside of us. None of us are innocent in that regard. If there's something out there we don't like, we can't really turn our backs on it because we're co-creators somehow or other. And we have to do the right things to try to get the future that is best for all of us.
We have talked so far about the freedom of our own personal life and quantum physics, that we are freeing and freeing and freeing our reality to ultimate realities. Yes, of course they exist. But after we have accomplished them, what then? What next? When do we make the shift from me to one? When are we the subconscious mind? When are we the knowledge of the one, transpersonal self?
When you start to realize what your true nature is, there is no question, there is no answer anymore. And there is just sudden realization. Now you come back from the rabbit hole and you start to perform in this world of illusion and wonder and magic with that understanding that you're never going to die and you were never born.
Choice by consciousness out of these possible events, the actual event of experience comes in. And so, for the first time, science encounters free will. Consciousness is free because there is no mathematical description of the subject. Only objects can be described mathematically, and only to the extent that there are possibilities. The question still remains paramount: who is the chooser?
Are all realities existing simultaneously? Is there a possibility that all potentials exist side by side?
Welcome to Flatland, a world of only two dimensions. Only forwards and backwards, left and right. In this world, there is no up and no down.
I said to Ray, "Where's Dottie?" He said, "Well, she's out in line." I said,
Where's that from? What the bleep is that thing?
In this world, the two-dimensional beings that live here have no concept of three-dimensional objects. These two-dimensional flatlanders have no understanding of cubes, spheres, tetrahedrons, or yours truly. From their 2D perspective, my 3D finger looks something like this.
What the bladder does that?
Hello, little circle. Fear of the unknown. Or should I say, not yet known. It's a puzzle. If we see only what we know, how does anyone ever see anything new? The unknown. How do we ever get out of our box? Hello, little circle. Don't be afraid.
Who said that? Where are you?
This is always the tricky part to explain. I am in another dimension, another space. I am above you.
No, never use that word.
What word?
The A word.
Above?
It's forbidden.
Well, what do you think it means?
I don't know, and I don't want to know. You can be severely punished if you use that word. Are you a ghost?
I hope not. I just have a different perspective than you do. I can see things in a way you can't yet.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, okay, you have a safe hidden in your pantry. And inside it, you have 12 coins, a will, and a passport.
How did you know that? What are you? Are you a god?
Well, no more than you. You see, since I am above you, in the third dimension, I can see inside things in your world.
Third dimension? You are a crazy ghost. There's only two. Look.
So, if I were to touch the inside of your stomach, how would I do that?
Well, you'd have to cut through my skin. Otherwise, it's impossible. Stop! Stop!
Ready for more?
More what?
Dimensions.
Oh.
Directions.
No. Yes, but there aren't any. More? What will happen to me? What will I become?
You'd have to become it to know.
Okay.
Excellent.
I never knew.
Isn't it funny? That which we are most afraid of is what thrills us the most.
That has the effect of randomizing their X spins, and nothing else interesting happened to them after that. Okay. Good. It's an easy way to get a laugh here.
So you can't ask them their opinion, because you know what they're going to tell you. You're starting to act different. I liked you better the other way. And that's a great sign that you're making a change. You can edit that, though, if you had to, though, couldn't you?
Not prettily. Not. Edit out the fire.
Who can do the Heimlich?
Okay, are we rolling?
ギリシャの哲学者タレスが紀元前前に、言ったように、水は万物の源であるというふうに、私は信じている。
I study quantum physics. I sometimes teach it. I have written a book on quantum physics and many books explicating the meaning of quantum physics.
After my PhD from Harvard, I went to CERN, the European Laboratory for Particle Research, but perhaps I'm best known for the discovery of the now famous n=1 locally supersymmetric flipped SU5 grand unified field theory.
Don't make the mistake of thinking that the scientific community is scientific.
2 points. First of all, I want to thank David for healthy skepticism is important, and extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. Now, the problem is that people defending the conventional approach to consciousness, brain equals mind equals computer, behave as if they've got proof and we don't. And they got, okay, pardon my...
Which formed the neural nets in the first place, which is what? The mind. What's the mind? The mind, thank you. This is called divine intervention. From above. But he has feet of clay.
I got involved with this because my evidence, no, start over. Okay. I can go back and fix that. Okay. Okay. My name is Lynn McTaggart. I'm author of a book called The Field.
I'm Dr. Daniel Monti. I'm a physician with specialty training in psychiatry and human behavior. I'm on the full-time faculty at the Jefferson Medical College.
I've heard some people say that, you know, consciousness is this wonderful property in the universe that has a predilection for the human brain. If that's the case, then consciousness is about 3 pounds and looks a little bit like a gray cauliflower.
It's showtime.
Tell you a little about myself. Oh, the light is blinking already. See, this is what happens whenever I speak. Weird things happen. Okay. All right, well, look, when I hold it, it stays on. What does that mean? All right. Oh, it's okay. Maybe God wants me to meet you.
Actually, we did this at a conference when we asked people how many people have had a gut feeling and so on, and 80% of the people say. And then they say, among those of you who are very skeptical of unconventional claims, how many of you, meaning now like 30% of the audience who doesn't believe in any of this stuff, how many of you guys have had interesting gut feelings that turned out to be right? 80%. So when people are skeptical about unusual things, it's completely understandable because there's all kinds of nonsense out there. But when you bring those phenomena into the lab and you exclude all of the ordinary ways of understanding them, it turns out that they do have a psychic component.
Here we are actually filming great thinkers. Everyone in this room is a great thinker. Now that we got them thinking, that's always a trick, isn't it?
You probably have more to say about this.
No,
Sorry about that.
Multiple personality disorder have to say about the seat of consciousness. And the second one is what made you want to become a physicist at the age of 50?
Okay, well, I guess multiple personality disorder. I actually wanted to become a physicist as young as the age of 4, believe it or not.
As we become more and more inner self-managed, okay, we will manifest the qualities of these deeper levels down the rabbit hole. And so we become a Qigong master, where we can influence things from thousands of miles away.
So if we begin to look at all that, It seems to me the only way out that I can understand is there is an intelligent presence. There is a kind of a one-mindedness that I call it, or God, if you want to call it that. Ponder that for a while. What did I say? What are you going to do with that? A bite! You took a bite out of nowhere!